Have you ever said something in the heat of the moment, only to regret it later? Maybe it was a comment to your child, a casual remark to your grandchild, or even something you said to a close friend. At the time, it might not have seemed like a big deal, but later, when you sat alone thinking about it, you wished you could take it back. Words have power, more than we often realize. They can bring people closer or push them away. They can heal wounds or create new ones. And as we grow older, our words carry even more weight. The way we speak to our children, our grandchildren, and even our friends can shape our relationships in ways we may not fully understand. In this video, I'll be sharing 5 powerful lessons, things you should avoid saying and what to do instead. These lessons come from real-life experiences, from people who have learned, sometimes the hard way, how much their words affected their relationships. I don't want you to learn these lessons too late. I want you to hear them now, while you still have time to make a difference. Now, before we dive in, I'd love to know, where are you tuning in from? Comment below and share your city. I always enjoy hearing from you. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more tips like these. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming up next. So, stay with me until the end, because these insights could save you from future regrets and bring more peace and harmony into your family life. Lesson 1. I have money. My children don't need to take care of me. As we age, many of us take pride in our independence. We don't want to be a burden on our children. We tell ourselves, I have money. I can take care of myself. My children don't need to worry about me. And on the surface, this sounds like a responsible and considerate thing to say. After all, we worked hard all our lives to ensure we wouldn't have to depend on anyone. But here's what many people don't realize. These words, even though they come from a place of strength, can slowly create an emotional distance between us and our family. Think about it. When you repeatedly tell your children, I don't need anything from you, what they hear is, you're not needed in my life. No child, no matter how grown they are, wants to feel that way. They may not say it out loud, but deep down, they want to feel that their presence, their love, and their support still matter to you. Many parents, in an attempt to give their children freedom, end up making them feel like outsiders in their own parents' lives. They don't ask for help, they don't share their struggles, and over time, the bond weakens. Before they know it, months, sometimes even years, go by without a real, meaningful conversation. Not because the children don't care, but because they believe their parents don't want them to be involved. Let me share a story with you. A woman, Margaret, was in her 70s. She and her husband had worked as government employees all their lives. They saved well, planned carefully, and by the time they retired, they had enough to live comfortably. When their son got married, they helped him buy a house, feeling proud that they could give him a strong start in life. Margaret always told her son and daughter-in-law, we don't need your help. We have money. We're fine. She said it with the best of intentions. She wanted them to focus on their own lives without worrying about her. But when her husband suddenly passed away from a stroke, everything changed. For the first time in years, she felt alone. And now, she wanted her son's presence. She wanted the comfort of family. But by then, a pattern had already been set. Her son had grown used to the idea that his mother didn't need him. He was busy with work, raising his own child, and he visited less and less. Margaret had a house, savings, and even hired help, but she didn't have the warmth of family. She realized too late that money could not replace the laughter of her grandchildren in her home. It couldn't replace the feeling of being surrounded by loved ones. So, what's the lesson here? There's nothing wrong with being independent. But don't let your pride and self-sufficiency create unnecessary emotional distance between you and your children. Instead of saying, I don't need you, say, I love having you around. Instead of focusing only on financial security, focus on emotional security. Make your children feel needed, not for money, but for love, support, and companionship. Because in the end, no amount of money can replace the feeling of being truly connected to your family. Lesson 2. Tell your children about your financial plan. Money is a complicated thing, especially in families. It can bring people together, but it can also create misunderstandings, resentment, and even division. That's why one of the most important things you can do as you grow older is to be clear and open about your financial plans with your children. But here's the tricky part. You have to do it the right way. Many older parents think they're doing the responsible thing by keeping their financial affairs private. They don't want to burden their children with details. Others believe that by telling their children about their savings, they are securing their future care. But both of these approaches can backfire. Let me share a real-life lesson with you. There was a man named Uncle Prun. He was hardworking and careful with his money. All his life, he saved every penny, ensuring that he could support himself in old age. He loved his children deeply, and when he reached his 70s, he decided to be open with them about his finances. One day, he gathered his children and told them that he had saved a significant sum. And then, he made a big mistake. He said that whoever took care of him in his later years would inherit most of the money. At first, it seemed like a logical and fair decision. His eldest son quickly stepped forward and invited him to live with him. Everything went well for a while, but soon, the request for money began. It started small: help with bills, a little extra for household expenses. Uncle Prun, wanting to be generous, gave without hesitation. But over time, the request became larger. His son needed money for business investments, then for home renovations, then for personal expenses. Uncle Prun kept giving, thinking that he was helping his family. Then, one day, the money ran out, and something heartbreaking happened. His son's attitude changed. The warmth disappeared. The patience turned into frustration. Soon, Uncle Prun started feeling like an unwanted guest in his own son's home. He turned to his other children for help, but they had grown distant. They believed he had already chosen who would take care of him, so they saw no reason to step in. In the end, Uncle Prun found himself alone, despite having a family. His decision to be transparent about his finances had not brought his children closer. It had torn them apart. So, what's the lesson here? Money should never be the reason family members feel obligated to care for each other. It should never become a tool for control or favoritism. The best thing you can do is plan wisely. Keep a portion of your savings for yourself, not because you don't trust your children, but because having financial independence ensures that your relationships remain based on love, not obligation. If you choose to discuss your finances with your children, do it in a way that brings security, not competition. Make sure they understand that your money is for your well-being first. Instead of saying, "Whoever takes care of me will get my savings," say, "I have a plan in place so that I won't be a financial burden on anyone." Your children should take care of you because they love you, not because they expect something in return. And when you handle your finances with care, you protect not just your money, but your dignity, your relationships, and the peace within your family. Lesson 3. Why can't you be like your siblings? Every parent wants the best for their children. We want to see them succeed, be happy, and live fulfilling lives. But sometimes, in trying to push them toward success, we make a mistake without realizing it. We compare them to their siblings or others. Look at your brother. He's doing so well. Why can't you be more like him? Your sister is so responsible. Why are you always making things difficult? These words might seem harmless, maybe even meant as encouragement. But to a child, no matter how old they are, these comparisons cut deep. They don't inspire. They create resentment. They don't bring children closer. They push them apart. Let me tell you a story about a man named Thinu and his son, Bangong. Thinu was a proud father who believed that success was measured by status, wealth, and achievement. His relatives' children were doctors, engineers, and high-ranking officials. He wanted the same for his son, but Bangong was different. He wasn't interested in chasing a high-powered career. He wanted a simple life, one where he worked hard but at his own pace. He was kind, honest, and always willing to help others. But in his father's eyes, that wasn't enough. Again and again, Thanu compared Bangong to his cousins. Look at them. They have stable jobs, good salaries. Why can't you do the same? Every conversation turned into a lecture about how he wasn't living up to his potential. At first, Bangong tried to prove himself. He worked longer hours, took jobs he didn't enjoy, and struggled to meet his father's expectations. But no matter what he did, it was never enough. Eventually, he got tired of trying. He stopped calling home as often. The warm father-son relationship they once had turned cold. Years passed, and as Thanu grew older, his once firm voice softened. The house that used to be filled with his son's laughter now felt empty. One day, He admitted to a friend, "I thought I was guiding my son to a better future. But now, I see all I did was push him away." He wanted to make amends, but by the time he realized his mistake, the emotional distance between them had grown too great. So, what's the lesson here? Every child is different. Some may achieve great financial success, while others may live a simpler, quieter life. But that doesn't mean one is better than the other. A child should never feel like they are in competition with their own siblings for their parents' approval. Instead of saying, "Why can't you be like your brother?" say, "I'm proud of you for who you are." Instead of focusing on achievements, focus on character, kindness, honesty, resilience. Those are the true measures of a person's worth. Because in the end, it doesn't matter how much money your children make or what titles they hold. What matters is that they feel loved, accepted, and valued just as they are. Lesson 4. Don't bring up the past. There's an old saying, "What's done is done. Let it go with the wind." But sometimes that's easier said than done, especially when it comes to family. Many of us hold on to past mistakes, old arguments, and long-forgotten grievances. And without realizing it, we bring them up again and again. Remember when you made that bad decision? I told you it wouldn't work. If only you had listened to me back then, your life would be different now. We may think we're just reminding our children of life lessons, but in reality, we're reopening wounds that should have been left to heal. Holding on to the past doesn't make us stronger. It only creates distance between us and the people we love. Let me tell you about a woman named USA. USA was a strong-willed woman, a dedicated teacher, and a strict mother. She raised her 2 sons with discipline and always wanted them to learn from their mistakes. But she had one habit that slowly pushed them away. She never let go of the past. Every time her children visited, she found a way to bring up old grievances. She reminded them of the times they disappointed her, the money they wasted in their youth, the bad decisions they had made. Her sons still visited her, but not with the same warmth as before. They came out of duty, not desire. Whenever she started talking about the past, they grew quiet, made excuses to leave, or changed the subject. One day, USA fell seriously ill and was hospitalized for several months. Her sons ensured she had everything she needed, but the warmth she had once taken for granted was gone. The long, affectionate conversations, the laughter-filled family dinners, those had disappeared. Lying in her hospital bed, she finally realized the mistake she had been making for years. She turned to a friend and said, "I always thought reminding my children of the past would teach them important lessons, but all I did was push them away. Now, I just want to see them happy by my side, but I fear it may be too late." So, what's the lesson here? Bringing up past mistakes doesn't change them. It only deepens the divide between us and our loved ones. If we want our children to feel close to us, we have to let go of old grievances. Instead of saying, "I told you so," say, "I'm proud of how far you've come." Instead of reminding them of their past failures, celebrate their present successes. Life is too short to waste on resentment. The past cannot be changed, but the love and warmth we create today can shape a better future for our family. Let go of old grudges and make room for love. Lesson 5. Harsh words hurt family member. There's an old saying, "Warm words can drive away the cold of winter, but harsh words can harden the heart forever." Words are powerful. They can heal, bring comfort, and strengthen relationships. But they can also wound in ways that never fully heal. One careless remark, one moment of frustration, can create cracks in a relationship that may take years to repair, or may never be repaired at all. Many of us have spoken words in anger that we later regretted. But by the time we realize the damage we've done, the harm has already been felt. As we grow older, we must be even more mindful of the way we speak to our children and grandchildren. Because while we may forget what we said, they often carry those words in their hearts for a lifetime. Let me share the story of a woman I once knew, Grandma Wah. Grandma Wah had 3 children, but she treated them differently. Her 2 older sons received praise and encouragement because they did well in school and pursued higher education. But her youngest daughter, Mame, stayed home to take care of the house. Grandma Wah often compared her to her brothers, making sharp remarks like, "You're not as smart as your brothers. You're just a burden." "You'll never accomplish much in life." Mame never argued back. She carried those words in silence, trying to prove her worth by working hard, being kind, and always putting her family first. Even after she married and had her own family, she still visited her mother, still helped in every way she could. But something had changed. The warmth was gone. Even when Mame was by her mother's side, there was a distance that could not be bridged. The words from her childhood had left scars, scars that no amount of love or regret could fully erase. Years later, when Grandma fell ill and needed care, Mame was still there. She still fulfilled her duties as a daughter. But one day, as Grandma lay in bed, she broke down in tears and admitted, "I thought my words would make you stronger, push you to do better. But now, I see that all I did was hurt you. And even though you're here taking care of me, I can feel that I've lost something precious." Her regret came too late. Though Mame had never abandoned her mother, the closeness, the deep bond they could have had, was no longer there. So, what's the lesson here? Words are not just sounds that disappear in the air. They leave marks. They shape relationships. They define how people see themselves and how they feel about us. Instead of using harsh words, choose words that build love. Instead of criticizing, offer encouragement. Instead of saying, "You'll never succeed," say, "I believe in you." Instead of saying, "You always disappoint me," say, "I know you're trying your best." A home filled with kind words becomes a place of love, safety, and belonging. And in the end, the most precious thing we have is not wealth or achievements. It's the relationships we share with the people we love. Speak with love, and your family will cherish you not just in your presence, but in their hearts forever. We've talked about 5 powerful lessons today, 5 things we should be mindful of when speaking to our children, grandchildren, and loved ones. These lessons aren't just about avoiding mistakes. They're about creating a home filled with warmth, love, and understanding. If there's one lesson from this video that resonated with you, I'd love to hear about it. Share your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one, and your wisdom could help others in our community as well. And if you found these lessons meaningful, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to the channel so we can continue spreading love and wisdom together. Thank you for your time, for your open heart, and for being here with me today. Take care, cherish your loved ones, and I'll see you in the next video.